I'm Holly Schindler, author of the Flex titles A Blue So Dark and Playing Hurt. At first glance, these two novels appear to have nothing in common. After all, A Blue So Dark is a literary novel about mental illness and creativity, and Playing Hurt centers on a romance between two former athletes. One thing both these novels do have in common is that they both take place in southwest Missouri. I am myself a lifelong resident of southwest Missouri. I'm really proud of my hometown of Springfield and think the Ozarks are an absolutely beautiful place to live. I'd love to show you the area myself, so come on, let's go check out some of those landmarks that actually do show up in my novels. A Blue So Dark takes place in my hometown of Springfield, Missouri. I took plenty of liberties with this setting. For example, Zeller's photography and Crestview High are every bit as fictitious as the characters who work and go to school inside their walls. One of the most important locations in the book, though, is the Springfield Art Museum. That really does exist, and it's right across the street. In order to get to the museum, Orr and Grace would both have to pass by this sculpture. Technically, it's called Sun Target, but pretty much everyone in Springfield has their own nickname for it. Most often, we refer to it as the French fries. The first time I depict Aura interacting with her crush Jeremy in the novel, she's sitting beside the Springfield Art Museum sketching this stone stage. I love this area because I think it sums up what Springfield is as a whole. We've got a stage meant for outdoor performances, a public work of art in the Sun Target, and the Springfield Art Museum. The emphasis on art is a pretty urban quality, but we're also standing right in the middle of a park surrounded by trees that's peaceful and quiet. And that seems pretty rural. And that's Springfield. Springfield is a perfect mix of rural and urban. The majority of Playing Hurt takes place at Lake of the Woods, Minnesota, which is where Chelsea vacations with her parents and meets her love interest, Clint. But we do see Chelsea at the beginning of the novel in her hometown of Fair Grove. This is where I would imagine Chelsea's family bakery, White Sugar, would be located, somewhere along this strip. Early on in the novel, just after graduation, Chelsea takes a walk to the old mill in Fair Grove, which is where we're standing now. It's probably the best known landmark in Fair Grove, and it does a great job of showcasing the fact that while Springfield was a mix of rural and urban, Fair Grove is pretty much just rural. It always feels preserved to me. I imagine that it feels the same way now that it did when my grandfather was a little boy growing up here. It's also the kind of town that really loves to showcase its own teen athletes, that elevates their young high school athletes to a kind of superstar status. It makes this the perfect place for Chelsea to have grown up loving basketball. And that's why I chose Fair Grove as Chelsea's hometown. Thanks for taking this virtual tour of the landmarks that show up in my books. I hope this gives you a new insight and appreciation into the beauty of the Ozarks. And remember, you can revisit the Ozarks anytime you'd like just by picking up a copy of A Blue So Dark and playing Hurt. Thanks.